Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Deepak.
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilor.
You were not there because I didn't hit the button. We're good, Debbie.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's just after 2 o'clock, and we are here for our regular council meeting. All members of council are present. Councillor Boulanger is joining us via Zoom. He is out of town, and he is on the screen. And we have our CAO, Deepak Joshi, with us, and we also have our assistant, Heather Stanek, with us. So with that, I will ask for a resolution for the adoption of the agenda, please.
Resolve the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated with the noted additions. Communication for action, 5.5 Broken Head Ojibwe Nation Annual Powwow, 5.6 Parks Canada Treaty No. 1 Commemoration Day, and 6.16 Macintosh Trail for new and other business, and 6.17 East Beaches Fire Department site drainage improvements. Madam.
That's it. Anything else from members of council? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Can we add, please, August 1st charity event?
Okay. Anybody else? Councillor Horvis?
No, I was voting to move.
Councillor Strang, go ahead.
I would like to have a quick discussion on parade. I have 2 things to bring.
Okay.
When it comes up.
And anything else?
Nope.
Madam.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, there's a resident who's requested to speak, but they didn't make the agenda and are requesting that after the agenda had been published to be able to speak to the agenda, to be able to speak to council on a residential matter. So it's up to council if we put them on the agenda for today, next council meeting.
Okay, do we know what the delegation was wanting to speak about?
This is a complaint about services provided by and the works related with Valley Fiber.
Okay. Well, what is the wish of council? I think, you know, we do have a fair amount on our agenda, and the normal procedure is you contact the office ahead of time to be asked to be put on the agenda as a delegation. If we do accept this delegation, that could start something altogether different, where different people will want to come whenever, and it's kind of going away from what our bylaw says. Comments, questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
It should
Tom.
be on the next agenda.
On the next agenda? Anybody else? Go ahead, Councilor Guzman. Pardon
Are
me?
they here now?
I believe that they are. I'm not sure because I don't know who the gentleman is. So
I don't know, maybe if we had time at the end?
we could
could, yeah.
perhaps before our supper break.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Are they here?
Pardon me, I don't
I'm
know.
in.
Is the gentleman who wanted to speak to council sitting in the audience this afternoon?
I would like to, in regards to Valley Fiber, yes.
Okay, and you didn't call the office ahead of time?
I mentioned that I'd like to come, and they said I had to fill something out, which means to me that you guys decide what is being spoken in these rooms, when it should be a public meeting.
It is a public meeting, and all our meetings are recorded, and you can go on the internet or YouTube and you can watch any one of our council meetings. We have been recording them since COVID, and we're continuing to record. This meeting today will be recorded, and if you did not phone into the office and ask to be placed on the agenda, then just walking in doesn't normally work for this council.
Well,
because-
if it doesn't work for you guys, that's okay. Otherwise, you guys are also asking for my full name and my address. We not live in Canada, do we not have a charter of rights where we don't have to give up our identification unless arrested?
Well, I'm gonna explain it this way, sir. If
I know,
you-
excuse me, I know you have bylaws, but bylaws do not trump or Canadian Charter of Rights.
I'm not saying that they do, but if you want to appear as a delegation and you have an issue,
I don't know what a delegation means.
a delegation is that you want to present to council. You want to appear as a delegation and let us know what your problem is, or your, okay, so that's what a delegation is. And I'm going to tell you that in order for us to deal with whatever your problem is, and you're telling us it's with Valley Fiber, we need a little bit more information other than, oh, someone came in and was complaining about Valley Fiber. We need to know your name and your location so that they can go through their records, we can go through our records to see if there were other complaints in the area and go from there.
I have done that 16 months ago, and I did that 3 months ago,
Okay?
and I've been phoning into this office, and
Okay,
things
you're
are not.
getting into the issue, so I'm going to ask, I see that Councillor Belanger, who is on Zoom, has his hand up. Go ahead, Rob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I can't see him, but is that Mr. Dane? I'd just like to know.
Mr. Bain, yes?
Yes,
I told Mr. Bain that if he wanted to be a delegation, quite clearly, that he had to call the office and do so. You can't just walk in. So just to give you some background.
okay, thank you for that.
And like I say, you don't have to allow me to speak at the end or now or anytime whenever you do that. This is my first council meeting. I don't get involved with politics. That's what you guys signed up for.
Right?
But I would like my damages fixed. That's what, I pay you guys my taxes. A majority of my tax money stays in this community. And I got told by Ron, I believe it was,
Rob, the
Rob.
counselor for the
I got told by
municipality.
Rob that they have nothing to do with my ditch. It's a province thing. But yet I pay my taxes to this municipality.
Okay, you're getting into, I guess, the matter at hand. If you want to discuss it with council, we can either, you can come back later in the day, say around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we can hear you at that time, or we can put you on our next meeting agenda, which will be August the 27th as a delegation.
I'm here now. I will wait until that time, and hopefully I will be allowed to speak.
Okay, that's entirely up to you.
I'm
Okay.
here now. I don't want to come back later.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you for that. Okay, I think we have a few additions, and I didn't have a mover and a seconder, so can I please have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis moves, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Anything further on the matter? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next item on our agenda is confirmation of the minutes, and we have one set of minutes from June the 25th that we're going to be looking at.
So resolve the minutes of June 25th, 2024, regular meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Horbis seconds. Any changes to the minutes, additions, deletions, corrections? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, moving on, we do have a delegation at 2:30, so I am going to move on to the communications for action. And the first item is Red River North Tourism. And that is the Art and Garden Tour.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is the Art and Garden Tour and a request for the members to attend. It was identified for July 21st, so 2 members did attend in advance, and so what we're doing, bringing forward is a resolution for the individuals that attended our tour.
Okay, if you want to bring the resolution forward.
Resolution is that resolved Mayor Deputy Feeblecorn and Councillor Sandra Strang be authorized for their attendance at the Red River Tourism Garden and Art Tour, which was held on July 21st, 2020.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second, please. Councillor Spicer. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next item is
The golf tournament for the Bob Jefferson's golf tournament, Madam Mayor.
yes, and that is a fundraising golf tournament, and I'm not sure if anybody is interested in going to that one. 2, Councillor Belanger, I know you're not here. Do you have interest in going to the Bob Jefferson golf tournament?
No, I don't. I signed up for one tournament this year, but that's it.
Okay. All right, so if there's two, I'm sure that they'll find another pair, or if we can find another two that want to go. It's entirely up to council, what you would like to do.
It's up to council, you want me to go, Councillor Strang wants to go.
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Go ahead, Councillor Pasarovich. Okay, I don't know who was on the list. You didn't put your name down originally?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Councillors Pastorowicz and Spicer have already been identified.
Okay, so then,
Could we, Deepa?
yeah, we can.
If he
Anybody
wants to
else?
go.
Well, we may have to find one more, and we can, I'm not sure when, it's not till September, so we could bring it back in August if we find one more to go.
Sure. So would you like me to read the resolution for the three, or just bring the whole resolution back?
Maybe just bring the whole resolution back, then everybody's together.
Sure. Okay, so we'll bring back the golf tournament. Is there a time limit issue for
I
the
will.
registration?
I'll talk to you at break.
Okay,
Well, you could book the team, but then,
Send the names in.
send the names and
Yeah.
afterwards, yeah.
yeah.
So-
Okay, so the next item is then the Heritage Family Names Monuments Celebration in the Arm of Broken Head.
Yes, the Arm of Broken Head is providing a Heritage Family Names Monument that's an event that's being held on this coming Sunday. And the reason we've also been invited is one of the individuals that's being listed in there is a longtime resident and has worked on our Heritage Committee and various other areas, which is Fraser Stewart.
Okay, is there any interest from members of council to go?
Somebody should.
Yeah, I'm not able to go this time. It's for 1 o'clock this coming Sunday. And it's right at the Broken Head office.
Yes.
That's,
Closure,
bullshit.
yeah.
I can try, I can't, because I got the funeral this evening, so.
Oh, right, that's on Saturday, right? Yeah, okay.
I can try. 1 o'clock on Sunday?
1 o'clock on Sunday at the Broken Head office.
Sure. We'll pass it if you aren't able to make it, Councillor, at least we'll pass the resolution. So resolved, Councillor Dave Horbus be authorized to attend the Arm of Broken Head's Heritage Family Names Monument Celebration at the Arm of Broken Head Municipal Office on July 28, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second, Councillor Belanger. Any further questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Pasarovich.
Can, you send a memo on that?
On which?
In case something changes.
I'm sorry, a memo.
Like a
Just
copy
time and
of,
date, yeah.
a copy of the invitation in case you're able to go?
So why don't we add your name in as well, Councillor, and then we'll send the invitation information out to you.
Okay.
And if you can't make it, it's the same as Councillor Horbus. At least then we have somebody already identified. Okay, so I'll reread the resolution, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Councillor, did you want to say something?
Oh, sorry.
Resolved that Councillor Dave Horbus and Councillor Glenn Basterovich be authorized to attend the Arm of Broken Head Heritage Family Names Monument Celebration at the Arm of Broken Head Municipal Office on July 28, 2024.
Okay, I did have a mover and a seconder, I thought. We've just added Glenn's name, so
So moved by
having said
Senator
that,
Strang.
yeah, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next one we have on our agenda is the Broken Head Ojibwe Nation, their graduation dinner and ceremony, and that was last week. I was able to attend that one. It was very nice. They had a number of graduates, and it was from their junior high, from the high school, and from all the secondary schools. Some in Winnipeg, there were even a couple out of province where they had graduates from the Broken Head Reserve. And I think that it was a very, very nice event. The hall was full, like for those of us that go to events there, the hall was pretty much full last Thursday for this event, so it was really nice. Yeah,
Just you went?
just me went.
Okay, so we'll bring forward the resolution, Madam Mayor.
Please.
So resolve Mayor Feeble-Corn be authorized for her attendance at the Broken Head Ojibwe Nation graduation dinner at the PTCMH, which was held on July 18th, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Corbus, Councillor Strang, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next one is an invitation, and I have forwarded this to the office. It came from the Broken Head Ojibwe Nation, and it is their powwow on the, starting on the, I think it's the 6th of August, I believe. The 6th, the powwow and the grand entry is on the 9th, and we've been invited to attend that, so. If there's anybody, I will be going. If there's anybody else who has any interest, if you put your name forward, that'd be great.
It'll be Friday on August 9th at 7 p.m.
Right,
Friday?
August 9th at 7. Okay,
So, any other members of council?
Dave?
See yours. Okay, so resolve Mayor Feeble-Corn and councillors David Sutherland and David Horbus be authorized to attend the Broken Head Ojibwe Nation annual traditional powwow grand entry at the Powwow Arbor in Scantlebury, Manitoba on August 9th, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And I was just gonna say, if it ends up that someone else can attend and your name is not in the resolution, please feel free to attend and we will get the resolution at our next council meeting. Because I know sometimes things do change and you're able to participate rather than not,
Yeah,
so.
if you haven't gone before, it's really,
Yeah, it is, it is.
you hear the drums, everything, it's
Yeah.
really, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Lots of color and lots of regalia from the dancers and things like that with their regalia. And that's what I like to go and have a look at, so. And the next one was an invitation, or is an invitation from Parks Canada, and that is for a Treaty 1 commemoration day, and that is, I can't remember the date, but I know it's
On
at
August
Fort
3rd.
Garry.
On August 3rd at Fort Garry at National Historic Site.
And the last two that we're talking about just came yesterday, so I forwarded them quickly to the office so that we could deal with them today. And I will be going to this one too. If there is anybody else who wishes to attend, I think it would be, going to be a little bit different ceremony, so I'm not sure whose names are on the resolution.
So the 3rd of August.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to note that the VIP tour starts at 10:15 a.m.
Yeah,
10:15?
that's the VIP tour, yeah.
So that's the
No,
that's
that's,
specifically.
yeah.
home council?
Yes.
Okay. That's 10:15 on Saturday.
Yeah, but you have to let them know, so if you're going to have your name in the resolution, Heather will let them know who else is coming besides myself.
And so you have a choice. You can attend the VIP tour at 10:15 or show up any time between 10 and 4 just for a general day to explore the site.
Okay.
And I chose the 10:15, the tour. I thought it would be kind of interesting. Okay, anything else? Go ahead, Councillor Strang, sorry.
Madam Mayor, can I have my name added to the resolution?
Sure.
Thank you.
And Councilor Horbus as well.
Yes.
So
Sorry.
if we're okay, I'll read the resolution, Madam Mayor. Resolve Mayor Feeble-Corn and Councilors David Sutherland, David Horbus, and Councilor Sandra Strang be authorized to attend the Treaty No. 1 Commemoration Day at North Fort Garry National Historic Site in St. Andrews, Manitoba on August 3rd, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Corbus, second, please. Councillor Spicer. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Should be a
Opposed? Carried.
It's a busy weekend because the Gull Lake picnic is that weekend.
I know.
Yeah, on Sunday.
On Sunday, that's right, yeah. If the delegation is here, should we take them perhaps?
We certainly can take the delegation. We're 3 minutes ahead of schedule, right, or 7 minutes ahead of schedule. Otherwise, we can deal with the requested addition, which was charity event
Oh, okay,
by Councillor Spicer.
sure, we can do that one, and then we'll be closer to that 2:30 mark.
Well, I was registered for August the 1st and I can't make that anymore, so you're gonna need to fill my spot, please.
That's for the ARM.
Okay,
I didn't look up who were, I guess I should have, sorry.
well, I think DPAC is one of them. Sandra,
I was volunteering.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering too.
This is for what?
The ARM charity golf tournament. And Glenn, you usually,
Probably, yeah. I didn't have one for that one.
And Rob was the other one.
Rob, did you put your hand up for the ARM golf tournament on August the 1st?
I do not have my book here, so
Okay.
I don't believe I did. I signed up for one, but I don't know if it was the ARM one, but Sandra knows I did, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna get Heather to check.
It was ARM is what we have you listed for.
Glenn, yeah.
And that's
Okay, then if that's the one, I know I did one this summer, but I don't remember which one.
Yeah, that's the one, it's in Selkirk. Selkirk is
Okay.
hosting it, so, okay, so Deepak, you're going.
I don't know if I'm not on it, what is it?
It was Scott and Glenn, Scott
you.
Spicer and Glenn Bassroich, myself, and Rob Bassroich, or Rob Belanger. Sorry, Councillor.
Your brother Daryl.
Okay,
Yes.
well, maybe we can find a fourth.
Yeah, I'll go with nobody's.
Okay, David Orbis.
Tyler? Tyler?
Tyler has said that he wants to go to the one that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay,
perfect.
So I apologize, this my schedule isn't allowing.
Okay, so we'll change
That's
that to
okay,
David
we
Orbis.
can, yeah,
For the other
we'll
one.
fit that in.
Yeah, so for the other one, for the golf tournament for the Broken Head, or sorry, the Bob Jefferson Memorial, Tyler has said that he would go. So that would make 4 for that team. So we can pass that resolution if you're okay with that, and then we'll
Yeah,
bring in
that
a
would be
delegation.
fine, yeah.
Okay. Resolve Councillor Scott Spicer, Glenn Bassarich, Chief Administrative Officer Deepak Joshi, and Protective Services, Manager Protective Services, Tyler Freeman, be authorized to attend the Bob Jefferson Memorial Golf Tournament, Selkirk Golf and Country Club on September 5th, 2020.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Orbis, second, please. Councillor Spicer, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried.
We're still about 4 minutes early, but I think
I got the resolution ready for the charity.
Oh,
for the charity, you have the resolution ready for the charity, okay.
yeah.
For the charity event, resolved Councillors David Orbis be authorized to attend the Association of Rural Municipalities Annual Charity Golf Tournament at Selkirk Golf and Country Club on August 1st, 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Bazarowicz, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so as Deepak started to say, we are a couple minutes early, but if the delegation for the Green Cemeteries is ready, if you want to just come forward and do your presentation, that would be great. You weren't expecting anybody else, were you?
I'm not, no.
Okay.
Is it possible to have the presentation put onto the screen?
Deepak?
Was a presentation provided in advance?
It was not, I wasn't aware it needed to be.
Yeah, otherwise we don't have it, but I could certainly try to put your presentation on.
Is the USB key there?
have your own computer?
I do.
We could certainly connect you to our network to do the presentation.
That would be wonderful.
I do ask that if you're making a presentation as part of this, that please submit it to us afterwards so that it can be part of the agenda afterwards.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You say,
Thank you.
Okay. USB okay?
USB's okay, I'll put it on the computer and then we'll,
Was there anything else on the queue? Was it called Green Cemetery Project? But yes, what's it called?
The RM of St. Clements, I think.
Yeah.
what kind of a computer is this USB from?
PC?
I can't see anything on the screen.
What's that?
I can't see anything on the screen.
Oh, can I see that?
Oh, the port doesn't always stay out, so maybe that's part of it.
Oh, you have to, there's a slider on the side.
Yeah, okay, let me see.
Okay, we're good to talk.
Okay.
Okay,
You can have a seat if you like.
thank you, I appreciate that. Actually, I'm glad to be a little bit further away. I've got a bit of a cold right now. I don't think I'm particularly contagious, but I really don't want anyone to get it. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about my project, and behind you you'll see some images. Most of the images in this presentation are actually from the site.
I'm gonna stop you right there, because
Yes.
some of us are gonna be looking down, because we have a TV
Oh,
in front there.
gotcha.
So we're not ignoring you, we're watching it down here.
That's wonderful. So I have the roll number, the legal description. It's zoned A40. It's a 22-acre piece of land on Cooks Creek. And my request is that, per the Cemeteries Act, I am seeking a certificate, either from the municipal engineer or the secretary treasurer of the municipality, that you approve of this use of the land. So I have 5 main topics: who we are, what Green Burial is, the proposed plan, the financials, and our succession plan.
The counselor that was on Zoom needs this screen shared, so
Oh,
Deanna
I
is
see.
just gonna share it with them.
Can I continue on, or should I wait?
Or I can't share that because I'm not the one doing this.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay, we are going to get a copy of the presentation, so we'll make sure that you get it when you get back, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay, so the Green Cemetery Project, if you take a look at the image, the river, the creek, is the dividing line between the properties, and the property that we are proposing to purchase is the one on the left side there. So the Green Cemetery project, I am the project leader. So my name is Trish Penner. Our board consists of 5 members. Our community advisory group has, I actually think it's just over 250 members. And our project consultants are vast. We have green burial and green cemetery experts from across the country participating in this. We've got business consultants, lawyers, 1 accountant. We've got architects, death doulas, health professionals, agricultural specialists, environmentalists, soil experts, and Indigenous elders involved in this project, and there are many, many others who are also involved in this project. I don't know if you can see because of how the image is showing, but this picture is of a tree on the land, and there is a ladder propped up against the tree. This tree is probably hundreds of years old, and somebody at some point has tried to make a tree fort, and my 13-year-old daughter is hoping to continue the process. So I am a physician at Health Sciences Center. I'm the director of the Sexual Assault Intimate Partner Violence Program, and I'm also working at this ID Health Center. I'm a director on the Green Burial Society of Canada board. I established the grassroots project, the Green Cemetery Project Winnipeg, in 2020, although it was in discussion for a time before that. I am self-funding the Green Cemetery Project, and our biggest thing that our project has done to this point is a conference called Reclaiming Death, a Community Conversation, and that was in May of this year. So the 5 principles of green burial, I know I've talked here about them before, but the first one is no embalming. The second one is direct earth burial, so that's putting a person into the ground 3.5 feet deep with only biodegradable materials, so whether that includes a casket or just a shroud. The ecological restoration and conservation of the area, so going back to its original ecosystem. We're doing simple memorialization, and in our case, it's going to be group memorial markers rather than individual grave markers. And optimized land usage. The Green Burial Society of Canada is an advocate for use and reuse of graves. So that's not currently legal in Manitoba, although it is in some provinces. So that is one of the things that we would consider. And the reason that I bring this up is that the people who will use the cemetery is actually a different demographic than they would use a traditional cemetery right now. So green burial is actually more environmentally conscious than cremation. And so probably the people who will choose to be buried in this space would be people who would otherwise choose cremation. As traditional burial is actually, has a giant carbon footprint, and green burial is actually carbon negative. And the Government of Canada recognizes these things, the green cemeteries as well, so it can be designated as an other effective area-based conservation measure, so an OECM, by protecting the land from development and managing it in ways that conserve biodiversity. Green cemeteries contribute to Canada's goal of conserving 30% of the lands and waters in Canada by 2030. So what do green cemeteries look like? If you take a look on the left there, this is Lodgepool Cemetery. It's in Alberta. This is Glenwood Cemetery. It's in Ontario. This is Sunrise Park and Interfaith Cemetery in New Brunswick. This is Aurora Gardens, also in Alberta. This one is in New York, but the reason I chose to show pictures of this green burial cemetery is that the ecosystem is actually pretty close to what we have here and what the land currently has. So the land, these 22 acres, are a mix of meadow and forest, similar to what the Green Spring Natural Cemetery Preserve in New York State also has. So I have actually additional photos of the one in New York State. So it's grasslands and trees. This is what I imagine our cemetery will look like. So the location, in the middle of the screen, there is a small blue circle with a white square inside. That is the location. So It's about 3 miles northeast of Wrightsville Park. So what I've done here is I've taken the survey of the land and superimposed it on a Google Maps image so that you can see how the survey matches the actual topographical features or the features of the land. There's forest around the creek, and it's not visible in this image, but along the periphery. So the piece of land that we're talking about is the one with the number 2 on it. And the land at the peripheries, there's actually a line of trees there. So what we're anticipating happening is in the top left corner, you'll see an A. This is where we anticipate, well, so I'll preface this by saying we have not gone through this with an architect yet. So the architect will guide us about whether or not our plan is advised, but this is what we imagine. So if you look at A, that's where we're imagining starting the native tree memorial forest. So this will be used when ground conditions permit, which will be in summer, in winter when the snow is at a reasonable level. And the other place that we're going to start is number B on the bottom left there. So that is the adverse weather condition for the memorial forest. And what we will do there is during spring, when the ground is wet, let's say we have 5 feet of snow again, this is where we're going to start. And then once the spring comes is when we would plant the memorial tree. If you look in the top right, there is a forested area, and we're anticipating putting a path through there where it will be a scattering forest. So this is where people would be welcome to scatter ashes, cremated remains. We plan to put paths through the space. This is just one possible proposed path. And along this space, there will be areas for sitting, benches, some reflection spaces. We'll also have potentially some environmental signs talking about the land and the plants that are growing there. If you look at B, so the reason that the path goes around this spot is actually a natural wetlands. And our goal is to preserve this wetlands. We actually saw a threatened, one of the birds on the threatened list in this space last week, which was very exciting. And F, so this is the highlighted portion. This is where we're anticipating doing the Riverside Grave area. And we're anticipating that the forest that is already surrounding the river or the creek will continue to expand over top of these graves after they have been used. On the bottom, we anticipate having a parking lot and signage. So, yeah, that's our space. This is one of the existing paths on the land. Is actually behind. I'm the photographer in this one, and behind me is the river, and in front of me is the path going on the land. So I know that there are a lot of questions about the financial viability of this project, so I thought I'd share some of the financials with you. So this project is 100% privately funded. There will be no outstanding bank loan. The land will be purchased outright, and we will not have a mortgage. Cemetery plot prices are based on the City of Winnipeg plot prices. It's somewhere between $24,000 and $3,000. So I'm proposing potentially about $2,500 per plot of land. 30% of all plot fees are placed into a perpetual care fund. So based on a $2,500 plot price, $750 will be placed in perpetual care for each plot that is sold. So if 100 plots are sold, that will be $75,000 that will remain in perpetual care. And if 1,000 plots are sold, that's $750,000 that will remain in perpetual care. The cemetery is anticipated to have more than 10,000 plots available once plans have been formalized. We have, so our succession plan, well, we're anticipating that this cemetery will be used for generations to come. And we're hoping that this will actually be a piece of land that can be used and reused over the next generations. And we expect that it will be run privately indefinitely. If there's no interest in continuing, the cemetery corporation, Return to the Earth Green Burial Co-op, has expressed eagerness in taking over care of the cemetery. We've had a fair amount of media attention over this past year. So the first one was an article that came out in December of 2023. It's actually the bottom one there. Go Green, Even in Death, Manitoba soon to get an eco-friendly cemetery. That was by Megan Henderson. And since then, there's actually been a lot of media attention. I actually forgot to put a couple of them on, but in April, there were 2 articles that came out. One was in the Winnipeg Free Press. It was called Dust to Dust. Green Burial, No Embalming, Rapid Decomposition are gaining ground and giving back to it too. And Global News did an article as well as a news segment, and that was called Green Cemetery Project, Winnipeg aims to make death more environmentally friendly in Manitoba. And then more recently in May, I was featured in a podcast called Afterthought, Better Burial, aka I Will Feed the Gooseberries, with Trish Penner, Rick Zerby, Nelson, Dave Lee. So that's a little bit about us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, very interesting. I'm kind of thinking council may have some questions, so I'm just going to open it up. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I just noticed one of the comments there, April 23rd of this year, last year.
This year.
Project Winnipeg. Where is there one of these in Winnipeg?
So the Green Cemetery Project Winnipeg?
Yes.
That's me. I'm that holder.
Oh, okay. So is there one in Manitoba yet?
No. Well, okay, so there are green burial places there are places you can be buried in a greenway in Manitoba. So almost every cemetery in Manitoba allows people to be buried underground. Some cemeteries also allow, biodegradable shrouds. Many allow these things. The thing that makes this project unique is that we are allowing the land to essentially go fallow. So we want to create an ecosystem that matches what would have originally been in this area. So the trees and the meadow would probably be something that we would have had. So that's what we want to do. But if you want to have the other aspects, so if you are okay with the ground above the grave being kept mowed all year, all summer long, there are several places you can be buried. But most of these places have headstones. There are a limited number of group memorial markers. It's more so like there's traditional cemeteries, and at a traditional cemetery, you can do many of the underground things, but the above ground things would be different.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Not sure how to ask this question, so I'll just be straightforward.
Please.
So, if a body is embalmed, it will not be allowed to be placed in the cemetery.
Correct.
Okay?
However, if somebody is embalmed and wants to be buried in the cemetery, they can choose cremation afterwards, which would burn off the embalming fluids, and then they would be permitted to have their ashes either buried or scattered in the space. Embalming is not a necessary, embalming is essentially cosmetic and not necessary. So part of our project is to try to encourage death positivity. So when a person is dead, it's okay that they look dead. We're trying to encourage people to embrace actually, not hiding from death as we often do in our society. So having the discussion about how embalming is not necessary. It's one of those things that a lot of funeral companies make money with embalming, and they guilt people into saying that they need this, but it is actually one of those things that is actually unnecessary. About 120 years ago, 130 years ago, when we started doing embalming, it was more necessary at that point because we didn't have refrigeration. People had ice boxes, but it was hard to keep a body for a longer period of time. In Manitoba, in Winnipeg specifically, we have a private company actually that does most of it's the morgue for most of the city. And they can keep bodies there for a month or 2 months. You know, if people need to fly in from everywhere, not embalming doesn't have to be a problem. We just refrigerate the person until it's time.
Yeah, my question was more related to, like, one of the things you're putting forward is the eco-friendly way. Right? So
Yes.
that would, I just wanted to make sure then that embalmed bodies would not be
Yes.
allowed.
Okay, anybody else? Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, just a question. Did you say burial would be around 2.5 feet?
3.5. Yeah, so there's the Public Health Act. The Public Health Act indicates that bodies need to be buried, the highest point of the body or casket needs to be below the 3-foot mark. So most people it's actually funny, they don't require more than 6 inches if they are just in a shroud. If you're in a casket, you would dig deeper so that there would be enough room so that the top point of the casket would be below 3 feet underground. In Saskatchewan, it's actually 2.5 feet underground, but here it's a little bit deeper.
Okay, and, I don't know if you mentioned before, there is no markers on each gravesite?
Correct.
So, how do they indicate when they go to bury another bodies, or GPS, so they?
Yeah, so you're correct. There are, so it's the same system where farmers have their robot, their tractors that have robot controls. So they have it's like I forget what the system is called, but essentially it locates things within can be up to about 2.5 to 3 centimeters off. So everybody will be, we will know exactly where everybody is.
Okay, thank you for that.
My question is, and I'm not sure if you had said this or not, but did you say, I know you said that the bodies could be wrapped in a shroud, but did you say a casket could go into the cemetery also?
It can. So Rick Zerby-Pernelson, who I actually did a podcast with, he is a local casket maker, and there are many available caskets that are 100% biodegradable.
Okay.
So the goal would be biodegradable. I know that we've talked to cemeteries across Canada, and some of them are a little bit more flexible than others. Some of them say, nails or screws would be fine. Others have said not even glues or varnishes can be used. It depends on how strict the rules are going to be. But because Rick is in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, and making caskets in his Osborne Village house, it's not, it's very available here.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Horvis.
So you say to be buried, there's $2,500, correct?
So for the plot, it's at $2,500, but there are additional fees.
Okay, so $2,500, and then $750 gets put aside for the upkeep of the parking lot, the paths, all that kind of stuff. Would you have someone there looking after the cemetery, or how would that work?
Okay, so how it works is the perpetual care fund can't be used, only the interest can be used. So the interest from that can be used to upkeep the cemetery. My goal would actually be to see so my goal is to have, to hire a summer student every summer for many weeks of the summer to provide care of the cemetery. So ensuring that the invasive species, the plant species are taken care of, that the paths are maintained, that kind of thing.
The other $750 goes towards the purchase of the property, or how does that?
So the $1,650, it goes towards whatever I choose it to. So I have control over the $1,650, and I don't have control over the $750.
Okay, so
it would go towards. So I'm investing
$1,650 or $1,750? Because
it's $1,650.
Well, that would be for 2,500.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it'd be 1,750. No? Yeah.
Yeah, 1750.
Yeah. So, is there a board or is it just you?
There's a board of 5 members.
Okay, so it wouldn't be just you who would do that, the board would have to agree where the 1,750 went, or?
Yeah, it would be,
Like, this isn't for profit, this is.
it's one of those things where I'm hoping to give people a good option that is reasonably affordable. But the money would go towards, you know, the 300,000 that I'm investing, for instance. Eventually, we'd hope to pay that off back to me. But yeah, it's essentially going to be a business.
Okay, Councillor Boulanger has a question. Go ahead, Rob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question has to do with saving space in a green burial site, which was another reason why I think green burials were becoming popular, was it's not a traditional graveyard where you have gravestones everywhere and large plots. Is there a consideration, or have you guys considered burying the body inverted, where you would essentially drill a round, almost like drilling a pile hole, you know, 20 inches round, 18 inches round, and putting the body in a shroud and burying it vertically? It would save so much space. I'm just wondering if that was ever considered. Did they do that? Is it not done?
It's not traditionally done in Canada. It's not to say it can't be done. Part of the problem with that, especially if you have a shrouded body, is the visual of it. So putting your loved one in the ground and watching their knees crumple as you put them in a shroud, it's hard on families. So none of the screen cemetery spaces in Canada use that yet, although it would certainly be a possibility in the future. And if a family requested that, I would absolutely entertain how we could make this work.
Okay, thanks, Rob. I think Councillor Spicer had a question, and Councillor Bazarowicz.
It's a bit of a probing question. I'm not sure if you've got this all worked out yet or not, but so you talked about other fees, so that would be stuff like GPSing to ensure the right plot, digging a hole if requested, that kind of stuff, or were there other things you were thinking about?
So the GPSing and stuff, that's all included in the plot price, but I don't have an excavator, so families would be welcome to dig their own hole, but the land in this particular spot is after about 1.5 feet, it's all clay, so it would be really tricky to get a hole that was deep enough. So the excavator that we've been using to this point is about a $900 fee. Additional fees would be to put the individual person's information, whatever they want on their stone, to put that on the memorial marker. Unlike a traditional cemetery, like for instance at Sunnyside, everybody is mandated to put in a grave liner. So they use concrete barriers there. So there's no fees like that associated with this project. It is actually a more economical way to get somebody into the ground if that's what you choose. Nobody's buying a $10,000 stone to put it at one of these sites. So with all the fees and everything, it might be $4,000.
Okay, thank you.
Sally, did you have another question?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, and I have a few things. I guess one of them, and I don't know how to ask this either, but just the wildlife around in the area, with only being 3.5 feet down.
So the smell barrier, so it's okay, I'm like, people ask all sorts of questions.
Right.
The smell barrier with most types of land, and this one might be, is about 18 inches. So the extra 18 inches plus is just extra, I guess, just in case. So Bears are more opportunistic than that. When you actually look at a 3-foot hole in the ground, it actually, I stand in it, it's up to there on me. So it's actually quite a deep hole, even though it doesn't sound very deep. The one animal that we wonder whether or not it would have interest in getting down that low is maybe prairie dogs. But other than prairie dogs, like the scavengers, the prairie dogs are not interested in anything except sometimes we hear rumor that they like to find their way into caskets because it's a safe space underground. But in terms of scavengers, there's no scavengers that like to go that deep.
I was thinking more coyotes.
Yeah,
Too.
yeah, and they can't even smell it after 18 inches. So they don't have a sense that it's there.
Is this something also, if, this dig over, we have to have an open house?
I would
with neighbors
absolutely.
in the area?
Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, it's along Cooks Creek. So my question would be, it's a good possibility, like in the right year, like flooding. If the creek overflows, which is quite natural, the whole area could be flooded. There's no solution to that, right?
So, with climate change, we don't actually know what the future's going to look like, whether it's going to flood often or not.
Yeah.
To this point, it does not flood. So the current owner of the land has indicated in the time that he's owned it, it has not overcome the banks. But we know that these things are possible. So at that, if we have a spring where the water level is really high, if people wanted to do a burial, we would have the morgue in Winnipeg hold the body for maybe an extra month until the ground dries up enough to make this a possibility. We're not concerned about caskets rising. We're not that doesn't happen in this kind of environment. But we would not dig a hole, underwater. Some of the Green Acres, which is it's on the number 1, what they do is they actually have pumps that pump water out of the holes as they need. So that's a possibility if we would need to, if we'd open a grave and find that there's water level down there, that we could do that. I would be surprised if there would be water in these holes that we dig just because the ground is so much clay.
And just one thing in regards to Councillor Strang's question about the animals. One thing comes to mind is badgers. And there are badgers around here, and badgers do tend to do that.
Yeah, this is a possibility.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up because the badgers could smell the body, and they have a tendency to
look for these things.
To dig. They have no problem digging down 2-3 feet.
Yeah, well, they would have a hard time, so because of the smell barrier, they would have a hard time finding it. But yeah. I know that animals are resourceful, so this is a possibility.
Yeah.
The lovely thing is, most of the people who expressed interest in this project are people who would be open to that, would allow their molecules to be used by a badger or a gopher or a or a mushroom, or a fungus, or a tree root, or a...
Okay.
It's part of rejoining the world's life cycle.
That's a good question.
Fair enough.
Sure.
I hadn't planned to ask any questions on this.
Oh, good.
I've seen the presentations in the past, but now I'm a little concerned.
Okay.
If you're telling me that you're not concerned about bodies being dug up by animals to allow them to be used, and that these bones could be scattered, and that's a concern as a municipality, significant concern.
So there was a rumor that St. Vital Cemetery had bodies dug up by coyotes about 60 years ago. Had lots of people talking me about this. Turns out it was actually just a rumor. It was actually an urban legend. In none of the cemeteries across Canada and none of the cemeteries in the United States has this ever happened. While theoretically it's possible that animals would get down there, I've actually never heard of anything being brought to the surface, and I've actually never heard of anything going down that deep and actually scavenging.
I have seen bodies come up to the surface in Winnipeg, from river erosion, from erosion associated with flooding, all those kinds of things, I've seen that.
At the
Also,
Elmwood Cemetery.
So at the end of the day, that wasn't the question. I appreciate your answer, but the question was that you weren't concerned that if a badger got into 3 feet into the ground and pulled up bodies, that's, your comment was, some people are not concerned about this, so they'd be okay. As a municipality, we're concerned any body parts, any bones, because that institutes a whole new set of requirements for us whenever human remains are found anywhere outside of where they're supposed to be. I hope you can understand that, so I'm just asking that, is there any mitigating plans and strategies that you planned on this, or this is, with this vision, you're hoping that it just doesn't happen?
Well, there has been no precedent for it happening, so I can't imagine that it happens. If it happens, I'm like, would actually be a huge deal. But even if a badger got into there, I can't imagine him bringing anything to the surface, because I don't know how you imagine it. A badger dragging something up.
It's parts, pieces.
Pieces of bodies.
Okay.
That's what would be taken by most animals and then taken to eat somewhere else or even discarded somewhere else. And then it's a matter of whenever, if there's a bone found on any land outside of a cemetery, it requires a significant investigation,
Okay, so
especially human remains.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm not aware of any cemetery in Manitoba that has rules about, or has ever had animals bringing things to the surface.
They're not buried 3 feet into the ground.
They're probably buried 4 feet into the ground. So we don't bury 6 feet deep in Manitoba. But they may be a foot deeper, that's true,
In caskets, most of the time.
most of the time. And caskets collapse most of the time.
A lot of those caskets have cribs in them now that they go inside.
I have one more question. I guess we're talking about the creek that's there. How far are you planning at this point in time to be away from the creek? Because I live on the creek, not in that area, but in East Selkirk here, and that creek can get very, very high in some years. I know it hasn't been recent, but what is the plan as to how far away you would be from the creek?
So if you take a look at this image here, it depends on how far the forest has crept. So in some places, it's probably the closest is maybe 40 feet. Maybe it's more than that, maybe it's 60 feet. In some places, it's, 40 meters. In some places, it's probably,
So like it's 120 feet from the water before it would be anywhere.
I guess
Yeah.
the intent is you do not intend to take down any of those trees at all along the creek.
I don't.
It's the other thing is anytime you do anything by the water, I don't know how this would work, it's not like building a house or anything like that, but there's things like you can't be digging close there and that kind of stuff, because then right away they want to know if there's any artifacts there along creeks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work. I could see it in a big open field that there's no creek next to it, but if you wanna do something next to a creek like that, then they're gonna, I don't know how that would work. I don't know. Would you know?
Well, Historic Resources branch now says anything along, and it doesn't even have to be a creek, it can be a drainage ditch, a registered drain, and they want the municipality, if they're approving, say, a subdivision, to do all this work. Now, I can see them wanting some work done along there, if that is the plan, so. and it takes them an awful long time to provide answers. Like if you sent in a request saying that this is what you want to do, it may take months for them to decide if you need to do any special surveys or digging or anything like that, so.
They probably want to take some of the land and test it to see if there's any.
Well, that's right, so. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Okay, now we're kind of concerned about the depth of the burial, so, do they have to be that shallow? Could it be a 6-foot grave?
So the
Or is
reason,
it- Go ahead, sorry.
so the reason that we choose to do 3 feet rather than 6 feet is that there's more life closer to the surface. So at a 6 foot depth, decomposition is anaerobic, which means that it's done without air. It would take a long time for any tree roots to find its way down there. When you do something closer to the surface, there are more opportunities for funguses to grow, there are more opportunities for roots to grow to that depth. And so the elements that make up a person would be more quickly able to return to the life cycle than if you bury down so far.
Okay, thank you.
So you're saying the body would feed the tree?
Yeah.
Councillor
Tree would be life again.
Mm-hmm.
Councillor Belanger, do you have anything else at this point?
No, I don't, thank you.
Thank you. And you were going to,
I had a message, one of the people involved in the process wanted me to read something today, if you're okay with.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So she says, bonjour, hello. My name is Lisa Amont Hunter. I'm a 60-year-old resident of St. Andrews, Manitoba. I am Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, born in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba. I'm very excited to hear about the proposed Green Cemetery project site in Manitoba. This would permit my family to inter me in a culturally relevant way. Ojibwe people believe that our bodies are to be returned to the earth in a way that we were born, intact and wrapped in natural materials like a blanket or birch bark. To know that I would be able to be laid to rest in this land, on lands that are part of the traditional Ojibwe territory in a way that honors our spiritual traditions makes me very happy. I hope the proposal is successful so that Indigenous people like me will have a safe place where our ancestors once lived, for our bodies to be returned to the earth in accordance with our cultural beliefs. Thank you. Please feel free to contact me at 2rosestricter@gmail.com if you have any questions.
okay, thank you for that. Okay, if there are no other questions, I'd like to thank you for coming in today in the presentation. It's very interesting, and we're going to have some discussion, and the office will be letting you know in due course of what we're thinking, or what the decision might be.
Okay, so I have the land conditionally purchased until tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I need to clear the condition or waive the condition by the end of tomorrow.
Well, I don't know that you'll have an answer by the end of tomorrow.
Okay.
So, we're gonna have some discussion here today, and it just depends where we decide to go. We may have more questions after we have a discussion here amongst us after you're departing and things like that, so.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Madam Mayor, just one of the comments made before the having an open house, I think that would be something that would happen before even the purchase of the property, if that's one of the things that.
So I will lose the property if I don't say yes by tomorrow. So this is a consideration for me.
I just thought that would be in the discussion.
Yeah, well, and I have visions of, inviting people to having a bus, inviting people from Folk Fest to come over and take a look, and, when we have that next year. But the reception, we have a lot of supporters within the Winnipeg area, the greater Winnipeg area, so I'm not concerned that, I think it will be well received by the community and the people that I've talked to in the area. So the owners of the land are just on the other side, and we've had a few discussions. They're very supportive of this. There are a few properties, but very few houses within 100 meters of this property.
There's a development going in right by there too.
Yeah, not too far.
The road's going in, I just want to know if you have talked to a few of the neighbors in the area?
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad you wouldn't have had some of that forestry to the neighbors and that. Really
Well,
would have been-
and the thing is that, you know, like I say, we may have more questions that we would like answered before we make a decision, so to speak, so it's unfortunate that tomorrow is kind of your deadline.
Yeah, there's been a lot of interest in this piece of property, so the owners are, they actually were gonna extend past last Friday, and then I said the meeting was today, so they were able to extend till tomorrow, but I suspect we'll just have a video to agree to by tomorrow, or by the end of tomorrow.
Okay, I guess the only thing that I can say is if we make a decision, you know, we can give someone who will from the office will give you a call tomorrow, but I will not guarantee that we can do that.
I understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And you'll send us that presentation, because it was very
Yeah, I can send it
interesting.
actually to you right this very second if you'd like.
We'll send it to you, and then you can just.
To info@armasaintclements.com.
I will do that right a second. Oh, sorry, I closed the computer, it's just been reconnecting.
You just pull it out.
Unless I want to send them an email.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Sure.
So, what's the typical time of decomposition vary this way?
It really depends on the climate. So when you go, you know, around the equator, it's weeks. But here, because of how our winters go, the decomposition of the soft parts of the body are probably between 1 and 2 summers long, but the bones might stay indefinitely.
Yes.
It's kind of like they have become, you know, the equivalent of stone. Well, the internet's not working. I will email it as soon as I get it.
Okay, perfect, thank you so much. And thank you for the presentation, very interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very interesting.
Okay, Madam Mayor, the next item on the agenda is
Can you another
Another
business?
business.
Yeah, and that is on our agendas here. It's under number 6, and the first one is request to use municipal property. And that is in, no, wait.
oh, there it is. This is a request to use for Beaches of 59 for the Amazing Race for 2024, and they'll be starting at the Gull Lake on 14 Muir Street at the green space that we have established for the picnic area.
Amazing race.
Yes, this is a race.
Oh, race. I thought you
Race.
said race. That was like a church thing.
And so this is their second year, as I recall, of doing this race. And so it did receive a lot of attention in the past, and they're looking at using it on August 10th, 2024.
Well, so this isn't like the TV show thing, this is just something you did local.
Just something local.
So exciting.
No, the Amazing Race isn't coming to St. Clement. Sorry, Dave. No, this Dave. So what are they looking for? Just the
Just the
approval
approval
for
to be able to
to
use the
the
green
land?
space. Yes, and they've worked with the, I understand with the Gull Lake
Ratepayers Association. Okay, if there are no questions, I'm gonna ask.
There's a question.
Oh,
Sorry, that's okay. I just have a question. Is there somebody that's at Gull Lake, or is this done through the office for booking that area?
For booking the green space
The
you're
green
talking
space, yes.
about?
Generally, you can book it through Gull Lake Ratepayers Association, but when it comes to some of these events that somebody's having, they usually communicate with the RM because it is RM land.
That's why I just wanted to, if somebody was, because I have,
So as an
the
example.
area's getting used, so.
Exactly,
yeah.
as an example, the car show and shine is being done by one of the residents in the area, they worked with us.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I'm gonna ask for the resolution to come forward.
Resolved that council authorize the Beaches of 59 to hold the starting point of their Amazing Race event at Gull Lake Green Space at 14 Ewart Street on Saturday, August 10th, 2024.
Can I have a mover? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Borba seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, 6.2, request for a noise extension.
Yes, this is a request for a noise extension by the Canadian Polish Athletic Club in out by Gull Lake again. And what they're looking to do is have an event at their space, and they're looking for a noise extension to 1 p.m. that day on August 31st, 2024.
Any questions? If there's no questions,
I'll read the resolution.
Bring the resolution forward, please.
Whereas Canadian Polish Athletic Club have made requests for noise extension, which is regularly under Bylaw 7 of 2020, for the purpose of an outdoor event on August 31st, I think. Was there a request? It says 30. This says August 30th. Hang on 1 second, if I could just double check.
Saturday, August 30th. Yeah, probably a Saturday.
And then, sorry, wrong line. This one is identified on August 31st, that's why I was. Oh, and requesting until August 31st, so it's on the Saturday, but it goes until 1 p.m.
On the 31st, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to verify that. And so, whereas Canadian Polish Athletic Club have made a request for noise extension, which is regulated under Bylaw 7 of 2020 for the purpose of an outdoor event on August 30th, 2024, and therefore be it resolved that under Section 5 of Bylaw 7 of 2020 permit the outdoor playing of music and other party activities 2 hours past 11 p.m. at 95154 PTH 12 on Saturday, August 20th, 2024. Further be it resolved, the property owners are responsible for nuisance noise created by invitees, guests, or other persons on the premises in the same manner as a person actually creating the nuisance noise, unless the property owners of the premises establishes that they exercise due diligence in a bona fide effort to control and abate such nuisance noise. And further be it resolved, the applicant contact neighboring properties of event details and hours of the event. Further be it resolved, the property owner must obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning District if there is a tent erected.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second, please. Councillor Boulanger. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried.
Rob said a question.
Go ahead, Rob.
No?
So you probably voted.
No, we're probably voting.
I was just approving.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 6.3 is request for noise extension at 5778 Henderson Highway.
Yes, there's a wedding event at their property at 5778 Henderson Highway on August 10th, 2024, and they're requesting for a noise extension till 1 a.m. on August 11th, 2024.
Right.
Wait, when you took these things things or these, for these noise extensions or whatever, do they get a certificate or a permit or anything or like that?
They get a letter of notification.
So if somebody came there, like in Gull Lake Prairie bylaw showed up there on the weekend, because that's when they'll be there, eh, Tyler?
Yeah.
Just so they know that it's okay or whatever? Do you guys let them know, or does Tyler let them know?
I send a copy of the resolution to the applicants. I don't know if anything goes to PBLE.
Yeah, and it wouldn't necessarily be needed by PBLE, because what happens is if somebody phones in for a noise complaint, PBLE would show up and then verify, is it,
Legit?
first they'll have the permission, and then they'll look at, see, is the noise too loud? Because just because you have a noise extension doesn't mean that it can be
Loud?
too loud, and they get a chance to.
I do, if I see them on the agenda though, I will give them the weekend enforcement heads up. Just as for what Deepak just said, give them a heads up, this is happening, but keep an eye on it just in case,
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
Okay, anything else? This other letter that we got, was that for a different location?
What other letter?
That came yesterday. It's for a different property, and I
That's
sent to
not-
you the means.
That's much later on.
That's something different? Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't this one.
yeah, correct.
Okay, if there are no other questions on this one, for August the 10th, can I have the resolution, please?
Whereas Chantel, Garrett Wright, and Dylan Todd have made a request for a noise extension, which is regulated under bylaw 7/2020, for the purpose of an outdoor event on August 10th, 2024. Therefore, be it resolved that under section 5 of the bylaw 7/2020, permit the outdoor play of music and other party-related activities 2 hours past 11 p.m. at 5778 Henderson Highway on Saturday, August 10th, 2024. Further be it resolved that property owners are responsible for the nuisance noise created by invitees, guests, or other persons on the premises in the same manner as a person actually creating the nuisance noise, unless the property owners of the premises established that they have exercised due diligence and a bona fide effort to control and abate such nuisance noise. And further be it resolved, the property owner must obtain all required permits from Red River Planning District if there is a tent erected.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horvis, Councillor Strang seconds. Any further discussion or comment? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, moving on, we have Prairie bylaw enforcement.
Correct, Madam Mayor. 3 more officers have been identified by Prairie bylaw officer.
Okay.
To be then enacted by our bylaws. So whereas an updated list of property bylaw officers has been provided by Prairie bylaw enforcement limited, therefore be it resolved, council authorize appointment of employees of Prairie bylaw enforcement services listed below as designated officers and bylaw enforcement officers for the enforcement of the municipality's bylaws. The municipal act and any other act the municipality is authorized to enforce effective July 29, 2024. And the names are Ethan Bell, Inderjeet Singh, and Gurveer Singh.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second, please. Councillor Bazarowicz, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, 6.5, Gull Lake Show and Shine, transfer station fees.
Yes, Mr. Malik, who's been working with the RM on creating his show and shine at Gull Lake Manitoba on August 17th, has also requesting that the fees for the garbage to be taken to the transfer stations be waived, similar to the picnic events.
Okay, any questions, comments?
Is that to the legal site or to the Gull Lake site?
Gull Lake State.
Lake State. Did he request that by phone or did he send something in? Because I see there's no,
He just had it in an email that was
Okay.
blended with other requests, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so if you want to bring the resolution forward?
Resolve fees at the Gull Lake Transfer Station be waived for Gull Lake Show and Shine on August 18th, 2020.
Can I have the mover, please? Counselor Bazarowitz, second. Counselor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next one we have is the East Selkirk Early Learning Center, and they have a request in for some signage.
Yes, Madam Mayor, they've requested that due to the increased traffic in the area as well as the increase in traffic of kindergarten and school-age children traveling between the school where one of the daycares is to the new daycare site, that they've requested that there a crosswalk be put up there, which will be painted lines on the roadway and signage, crosswalk signage to be put up to allow children to walk across safely.
Okay, any questions, comments from council? I noticed in Selkirk yesterday, I went down Eveline and they've got 2 new crosswalks. And they're just signed with the sign with the person walking and it's a few feet ahead of the crosswalk, so. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Just further to that, that's kind of what we're looking at. We're not looking at flashing
Not any lights at this point, I think it's just a crosswalk signs and crosswalk to let motorists know that there is actually a crosswalk right
Yeah.
there.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, I'll ask for the resolution, please.
Resolved, crosswalk signage be installed on Strathcona Road to allow safe road crossing for staff and students accessing the before and after school programs at the East Selkirk Early Learning Center.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second. Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion or questions? Call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, CN Rail Safety Week, and they've sent a letter asking us to proclaim Rail Safety Week, and I think that's what we're going to look at here.
Correct. And the date is September 23rd to 29th of this year. And it's basically, they request all municipalities that they have services in to request and provide a sort of an indication to everyone that, you know, to be safe around railway crossings.
I don't know if we have any crossings or what.
Well, we have lots of crossings, but they're not used. There's no train.
And that track is live all the way.
They still park cars on it.
Well, that's all they do is park cars on
They
it.
have to move. They switch on. It's used all the time.
Well, to me, that's not using it. When I think of the railway track, I think of a train going back and
This is a track
forth.
that makes money. This is called the revenue line. And it's a storage line, and you get paid per train, per car. And it's not only their cars, it's whatever, whoever wants to rent space. I worked for the railway 18 years.
Anyways,
The main line does not make as much money as that line.
we'll see them for a long time. There were no cars there, but now I see they're loaded again, right from CIL Road, right to the,
They go right through East St. Paul, all the way down. The real
I'm thinking of coming this way though. They only go to the train bridge, just to the hydro property.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still get complaints about the cars.
I was down there the other day. I didn't see any.
No, they come and go, that's because they're moving. That's what we don't see.
Yeah, all right.
So we have the proclamation, Madam Mayor?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 23rd to 29th, 2024, and whereas 229 railway crossing trespassing incidents occurred in Canada in 2023, resulting in 66 avoidable fatalities and 39 avoidable serious injuries. And whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railways right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway, rail, grade crossing, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking to and listening while near railways and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesaver is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness. And whereas CN and Operation Lifesaver have requested Council adopt a resolution in support of its ongoing efforts to raise awareness, save lives, and prevent injuries in communities, including the RMSA comments.
Okay, mover, Councillor Spicer, second, Councillor Horbis. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, we are on, where am I here? MPI Speed Signs Agreement 6.8 on the agenda.
Correct, Madam Mayor. This is an agreement between Manitoba Public Insurance Corporation and RMSA Clements, and this is as a result of several speed signs were made available by MPI to municipalities. We requested 4 and were able to receive 2, and those 2 speed signs are still owned by MPI, but now we can use them to place them in different areas of the RM. As part of that, there is a requirement to get into an agreement with MPI as to the proper use and making sure that we get the appropriate approvals if we decide to put speed signs on provincial highways. That's an example.
Okay. Any questions that you have before he brings the resolution forward? Go ahead, Councillor Gazarovich.
Did you put one for this, Ryan?
Yes, Henderson Highway is a perfect example.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it. Are there any?
Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll bring the resolution forward, please.
Resolved, Council approve the agreement dated July 23rd, 2024 with Manitoba Public Insurance for the purpose of speed sign equipment as presented, and then the mayor and CEO be authorized to sign and seal same.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Gazarovich, second, Councillor Belanger. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing. Oh, go ahead, Councillor Strang, sorry.
That's fine, Madam Mayor. Are we going to set up a program that we have selected roads that we can monitor all the time, that when we get calls from residents? Just a suggestion, that it will move around, the signs will.
It's a good suggestion, thank you. Yeah. Good. Should do that, thank you. Good work. Okay, Madam Mayor?
If there are no other questions, I'll ask you to bring the resolution forward. Did we do that already? So we're ready to have the vote. Councillor Strang had her question. So I do have a mover, I do have a seconder. Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, 6.9, Schenkel Development, the land sale agreement.
So as discussed previously, the land next door to the RM office here to allow for some multifamily development by Schenkel Developments we've come to a final agreement on the agreement and brought the agreement forward to be able to be signed. The details are that they're meeting all the requirements that we had asked them. It'll be approximately 2 acres of land. So we're identifying approximately 2 acres of land today. We're getting council's approval to be able to sign the seal agreement, but we've told them to get the survey work completed so that we'll know exactly the land that will be in the agreement, because we have to take into consideration part of the sidewalk is not going to be included in there because it's a public sidewalk, and some other areas, as well as how close they can get to the daycare center over here. So the agreement will identify the land. It also covers that if there is no construction within 2 years, of the finalization of this agreement, that the developer will then revert the land back at the same market price back to the municipality. And that is to avoid any kind of land banking on the part of any developer on municipal land. As well, if the developer, it does have a penalty clause if the developer just decides not to proceed for no other reason, like, there have to be very good reasons. The developer has made that commitment and is not concerned about any of those concerns. And the developer will be responsible for the subdivision and rezoning of the land as necessary. So that means a public hearing and everything associated with that land will still occur as part of that subdivision.
Okay, Councillor Boulanger. Councillor Boulanger also had his hand up, so go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My understanding that the development agreement would come at a later point where we could make reference to how we want things taken care of there, hence dividing the properties from the RM parking lot, junk filled up, tree lines put in. That all comes later in a development agreement, correct?
Correct, Councillor, that would be part of the subdivision and rezoning process.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Go ahead, Councillor Bazaroa, we're sorry about that.
There's an existing well, and I believe it's a tank. Would that have to come out, or is that be part of the?
Yes, we've looked into the tank and taken out, it's not being used at all. Public Works has confirmed it. It was just an old tank that was there from previously. There's no, we've already completed the hazardous lands assessment, the impacted lands assessment on that area. There's no issues there. As to the well, it was a monitoring well, and the monitoring well hasn't been used for a number of years. And so we're in the process of locating a new location for the monitoring well. And the reason that monitoring well was originally put in was when both our water, for our water treatment plant, was also being used in the same aquifer as the city of Selkirk's water treatment plant. And so there was a need to monitor the wells and the usage and a distance away from the well itself. And since then, Selkirk has already moved their location to outside of Selkirk into the well field there. And because of that, the aquifer has recovered significantly. So, but there's still a requirement provided. We haven't had to by the province of Manitoba, but we're planning to put one on our own site.
So cap this.
Correct.
Or pull this right onto this, you would cap it, because if you can't build around it, it's still
Yeah.
there. So is that our cost we gotta put the new one in, or is this in the deal, they're gonna cover the
That's
cost to
in the-
move it?
I think that's in the deal, but it's not a very significant cost either way.
Be a couple $1,000 at least.
Yeah, but we're getting a good deal for the land.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Just some clarification on, whose responsibility is it to do the road opening, road closing?
That's ours, and we'll be doing that with the subdivision process with them.
So that cost would also be ours?
It'll be part of the subdivision process, so it'll be built.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Will's there, so we can't see.
Well, it's gonna stand up.
Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Yeah, my only question or my concern was, as the purchasers of the land, if there is a test well that was on site, it should be their responsibility to remove it. They're buying the land with the test well on it. Oh, well, they can take to remove it.
I'm sure they will. I don't think there's going to be any significant issue there, Councilor.
It's just a galvanized pipe down in the ground, we just pull it up.
Okay, anything else on this one? That's the Schenkel Development, the land sale agreement. If not, I will ask for the resolution, please.
We lost where I was, 6.9. Resolved, council approved the agreement dated July 23rd, 2024 with Schinkel Property Developments for the sale of the eastern portion of Parcel A, Plan 9229 as presented, and the mayor and CRB authorized to sign and seal same. And just a note, we'll be signing and sealing that after the survey has been completed.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second, please. Councillor Sutherland. Any further questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, 6:10 on our agenda, Regional Infrastructure Sharing Project between the RM of East St. Paul and the RM of St. Clements.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's been some ongoing discussions, similar to our discussions with the RM of St. Andrews, where we're going to be sharing our water across the river with the RM of St. Andrews. There's been discussions with the RM of East St. Paul, as you know, who's had a development moratorium because there's a lack of capacity in their existing sewage treatment plant, which they are looking at expanding in the near future. But in the meantime, they needed some lands in their northern part of their community, which is abuts ours, to be able to maybe connect through our low pressure sewer. So what this is a commitment to working together on infrastructure sharing, water and wastewater with the RM of East St. Paul. And so for that, we've also created a list of frequently asked questions. Once, if council passes this resolution today, we'll work with our communications officer that will place those on our website for any residents that may have questions related to what that is. The questions that are in there cover anything from what is the purpose of regional infrastructure sharing, how will this project benefit residents in our community, will this project increase taxes, what will be the project completed, and covers all those things.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions for Deepak? Okay, if there's no questions, I'll ask. Oh, go ahead, Councilor. Okay, go ahead. The resolution, please.
Okay. Whereas the municipalities St. Clements and East St. Paul have identified potential opportunities for regional infrastructure sharing, and whereas collaboration on major infrastructure could lead to more efficient, cost-effective, and environmentally sound management practices for both municipalities, and whereas regional infrastructure sharing aligns with the goals of promoting economic growth, protecting the environment, increasing resiliency against climate change, and addressing servicing needs for population growth. Therefore, be it resolved that Council commits to working together and hereby authorizes the establishment of a joint infrastructure committee comprised of representatives from both St. Clements and East St. Paul to oversee the planning and implementation of a shared major infrastructure projects. The Joint Infrastructure Committee will report back to Council with assessment of the technical, financial, and environmental aspects of identified infrastructure projects. Where possible, establish servicing partnerships with fair and equitable cost sharing models for both initial infrastructure investments and ongoing operational costs, and collaborate on joint funding applications for provincial and federal infrastructure grants for major infrastructure projects, and development of a governance agreement outlining clear decision-making processes, operational responsibilities, and dispute resolution mechanisms for the shared infrastructure. And be it further resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer is hereby authorized and directed to take all necessary actions to implement this resolution.
Okay, can I have a mover? I think Councillor Bazarowicz moved this resolution. Second, Councillor Spicer. Any further discussion on this subject? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, 611, JQ Build Collaborative Efficiency Advocate Letter of Support.
Yes, Madam Mayor. And what it is JQ Build. This is an expansion on the JQ Build model from the JQ Public. And what they are looking at is creating an advocacy program and developing a JQ Lift. And what it is to support sustainable energy savings goals and educational resources through supporting municipal staffs, creating workshops, newsletters. This will provide them the ability to be able to not only work as an efficiency advocate position for the RMs, but also to help to retrofit and upgrade various existing resources and assets. The intent is that they will be funded through Efficiency Manitoba, and they will receive a significant amount of dollars in that. So what they're looking for is support from all members of the JQ public municipalities. A support letter has been created going out to them that says that we support JQ Build's effort to inventory efficiency opportunities across the region, review and facilitate access to relevant efficiency Manitoba programs, develop tailored resources and education material for municipalities, identify potential policies, and coordinate group procurement upgrades and where beneficial. So what the intent here is to work with the municipalities to see where we can get more funding from provincial sources.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions on this one? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So one of the processes here would be they could come and look at all our buildings and give us reports of what we could do to make them more efficient.
Correct. That could be part of it.
Okay, anything else? Deepak, you read the question. Can I have a mover? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Horbus, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, municipal office phone system upgrade, 6.12 on our agenda.
So thank you, Madam Mayor. As you may know, that our phone system is quite outdated, and in our 2024 capital budget, we had identified $55,000 for doing a complete upgrade to our phone system. I have to commend Heather. She's done a significant amount of investigation into this, and what we're looking at is what's the cost?
Under $10,000.
Under $10,000 now, so it'll be a significant savings. And so what we're recommending is that council approve and authorize us to move forward with a contract with Bell Total Connect that will allow us to change our phone systems to a much better phone system, eliminate some of the problems, and to be able to expand it into some of the newer technologies out there for utilizing telephony as part of it.
Okay, any questions?
20th.
Go ahead, Councillor
So
Spicer.
it's internet-based, like VoIP? Yeah.
It'll have some VoIP related to, but the main intent is to replace all the handsets and so forth.
Yeah.
It gives you ability to take your phone with you, be able to work different ways with it. Okay,
You don't want to take your phone with you, do you?
I take this phone, but it'll allow me to transfer my landline to this, which we aren't able to do today.
No, for sure. Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll bring the resolution forward, please.
Whereas the administration be authorized to enter into a contract with Bell MTS for Bell Total Connect and purchase of equipment not to exceed $10,000.
Shouldn't that just read resolve that? Not
Yes, sorry,
whereas?
no, we're resolved. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, can I have a mover? Councillor Spicer is moving. Second, Councillor Belanger. Any questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Much better than 55,000.
Okay, Wi-Fi muster stations?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What we had, when Brenna was our recreation manager, we had applied for and received funding from the federal government of up to $50,000 for creating muster stations, especially related with, and also related with Wi-Fi connectivity. So they were trying to cover two things. They were looking at a federal level, mainly associated with Wi-Fi connectivity available to rural and remote areas. We took advantage of that and identified it as part of our muster station opportunity, especially when you took a look at what happened. I wasn't here, but in 2019, when there was a significant snowfall event that took power out from various locations, and then where people had to go to muster, there wasn't any opportunity because there was no power. How do you now provide any type of connectivity just to find out what's going on and other purposes? So we identified several different locations. Most of them we've taken care of. As an example, at our fire hall, we've put in a generator now, so that there's in Grand Marais. We've put a generator in East Selkirk now. We have a generator in Merrill. So those are already muster stations, as well as our office here is on a generator. We're a muster station. Those all have Wi-Fi on. So we looked at some of the other ones, where else can we add this? So we identified the Lebo Community Club as a possibility, the East Beaches Fire Hall, where we could offer the internet service or the Wi-Fi connectivity there, and the St. Clements and the future St. Clements Activity Center. Using the $50,000 that's been given, not only can we put in the Wi-Fi available to our residents when they need to connect, and be able to get a hold of their loved ones during one of these emergencies. We're able to introduce some possible outdoor extenders and utilize Starlinks. So you'll always be connected to the through a Starlink program, and utilizing the money to cover 5.7 years of costs for keeping those Wi-Fi stations up.
Grand Marais Fire Hall was a priority, we talked about that for
Correct.
the longest time, so that's
Yes.
good to be covered, for sure.
As well as the Lebo Community Club, and the
That's right.
advantages,
Yeah.
this 50,000 covers us for up to 5.7 years on top of buying the equipment. And that's the cost of having a Starlink's satellite Wi-Fi service. Now, we won't need to worry about places like this office, so if citizens came in, we'll look at Wi-Fi extenders outside, and people will be able to connect because we'll have power. And as long as you have power, you can still get the internet.
Any other questions, comments? Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, because I think if you're on fiber, Valley Fiber, if your power goes out, you won't have internet.
Correct. If they lose power at their receiving stations. These
So it makes sense to use Starlink.
Starlinks for those, correct.
Yeah.
If it's bad weather, it's stored in the parents.
But usually, they usually have generators to accommodate some of that internet service. But, you know, it's a perfect example in Grand Marais, when the power went out, so did the cell towers.
Yeah.
And so cell communication disappeared. When you lost cell service, you lost internet.
Okay, so you have a resolution for this one, Deepak?
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor. Sorry.
I don't think there was one, I think it was just updating.
Was that just updating?
I think so, just more information to council. We didn't indicate any requests. I think.
No, I guess we don't necessarily need a request. We don't necessarily need a resolution because
Okay.
council passed the resolution when we made the application for the
Right.
funding. It's just that we needed to finish the funding, so it's information for council. We'll receive it as information, sorry about that.
That's okay. So then we are at, 6.14, the lagoon. The
Yes,
primary
Madam Mayor.
cell diffusers.
Yes, so this is the primary cells, the aerated wastewater treatment lagoon system in East Selkirk needs treatment. And so the facility collects large volumes of information. As you know, their system requires specialized annual maintenance and for the aeration of the diffusers. And because of that, a boat and crew of 3 personnel are required to do this work. So what we do is we hire someone to come and do this work for the aerating, and the quoted value of the scope of the work is $13,500 plus taxes to aerate the lagoon.
Okay, any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Horvath.
Would this be covered under the utilities, or is this over and above?
It's part of the utilities.
Oh, okay. So it's not coming out of any of our other budget, it's coming out of the utilities fund? Okay.
Councillor Spicer.
This is a maintenance situation, right?
Yes.
So are we typically spending that kind of money every year on maintenance, or do
It's
we
not
have a
every-
schedule?
It's a schedule depending on the testing they receive and what they need to do. And it's usually done at this time of the year before we get into storage, before winter comes.
Okay, anybody else? We could have the resolution, please.
Be it resolved, council accept the recommendations of the water and waste coordinator authorizing the CAO to issue a purchase order for the estimated cost of $13,500 plus applicable taxes to be funded by the utility operating budget and utility reserves.
Dave, is moving it.
Can I have a mover, Dave Sutherland, a seconder, Glenn Vazarovich? Any further questions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, 6.15, employee assistance for the fire departments.
I think Tyler was waiting for this one.
Oh,
Come and speak, but I can speak to it very quickly.
is it, if he's coming back up, or did he
He's
have to?
dealing with an issue quickly, so I don't know
Okay,
how
so
soon
let's
that'll
just do the other couple and then we can wait for him to come back up.
If you like, I can speak to it, that's not a problem. But okay, we'll come back to that one. So we'll go to the McIntosh Trail. And so this is the issue of the Gull Lake Green Space requires some work. Parts of it has been underwater and it needs to be groomed. And Public Works has come up with a quote for refinishing of this trail. The trail's quote comes out to about $7,500. With contingency, we're looking at about $8,000 to $9,000. The trail has been brought up to council before, as you know, a resolution would be created to accommodate that. This has been an ongoing request from the local members.
Any questions, comments? Go ahead, Councillor Vazarovich.
This trail, is it connected at all to TransCanada or anything like this spur, or is this just a private trail through that community?
I'm not sure if the TransCanada Trail, how close it is to this trail.
Like, I'm just wondering if Dan can find some funding or something like this.
So, no, it isn't part of Dan Lester's trail management. The McIntosh Trail, I think, has been mostly identified by Gull Lake ratepayers, and they've been the ones who utilize it mostly.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I don't think I'm against it. I'm just a little surprised at the amount that it's gonna cost to do what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I guess that's
I thought it was just a
just
bit
speaking
over
out loud.
Yeah, culvert and some gravel. Are they gonna contract it? Are they gonna hire? Are we gonna do it? Or are they gonna get somebody to do it?
Well, it sounds like they're gonna do it.
Oh, it sounds like they're gonna hire somebody.
Yeah, contract, yeah, but they're gonna look after it. They're not asking us to do it anymore. They're gonna look after it, but they want us to pay for it, is what I get.
It's the same thing.
So what we're looking at is, the quote is $7,500 for the materials. That's for the culvert and gravel and some of the drainage work that needs to be done. And Public Works time is approximately $500 to that, or $1,500, depending on the work. That's what they've identified.
But we're doing it, the RN
Yes.
is doing it. Okay, yeah. Sounds good.
The material is still a cost. Gravel's gonna cost. There'll be a cost for a
I thought
culvert.
we had gravel in that area.
Yeah, we do. We don't have to put crushed on top. We could put pit run underneath and then put nice gravel on top. Why get it from the pit there and pay that kind of money? I'm sure that would bring the cost down.
Okay. What the resolution does is it gives us authority up to 9,000. I can certainly give some of that direction.
Right.
Take a look at doing a pit run if there's an alternative.
I mean, you don't need,
I'm gonna see. Counselor Belanger, go ahead.
So, did I hear it was $7,500 with something about a contingency, just in case it's over? My feeling as well is I didn't know it was, I knew there was work that had to be done there, and I was one of the folks that was pushing to get it done, because we've been talking about it for years. But I didn't know it was gonna come to that amount of money. I thought it was a culvert and putting some gravel on top. I mean, we're almost at, $8,000 here. If that's what it is, that's what it is, but I didn't think it was gonna be that much.
Yeah, that's what it is the cost of gravel and material, like, the cost of culverts have gone up, and those are the kind of things that you're looking at.
I don't know if you need a real small culvert there.
It's only
Yeah.
$500 for the culvert.
8-inch culvert or something, just.
Yeah, nothing big.
Yeah, 10-inch culvert, I mean, even if you put two there, and how long would they be for a path? That's, I can't
7 to 8 feet.
Well, I think
If
they
that-
wanted, I think when I somehow recall that they were wanting it so that, someone with a walker could go down it, so it has to be a little bit wider.
Yeah, that's fine,
So it's 400 meters, 2 meters wide, approximately 0.15 meters thickness, which comes out to a volume of 120, tonnage of 288, a 4-meter culvert. So gravel is 24.52 per ton. Culvert was 93.65 per meter. So it comes out to $7,436.36.
yeah, the gravel, we won't have to crush gravel buy it from there, we could use ours.
We could, as I said, it's a quote with contingency to cover the cost up to a certain amount. And I will instruct our public works director to make sure that, keep the costs low as much as possible and see if we can do a pit run.
Yeah, I'm
We'll look
okay
at all
with
those.
it, I mean, we should have did this
Yeah, it
years
should have been
ago.
done long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been putting this off, we said we were gonna do it a long time ago.
Okay, Counselor Spicer and then Counselor Belanger.
I'm prepared to move it and let administration do what he just said.
Go ahead, Counselor Belanger.
I think that might be, in my mind, why it's more, is because I didn't realize it was 400 feet, which is, or 400 meters, which is 1,300 feet. So, okay, that's more length than I thought.
Okay, thank you for that, and I guess my comment would be is what we have in the resolution here, if we're concerned about the cost, perhaps it should read that the trail in Gull Lake in the amount not to exceed $9,000.
Yeah,
7,500.
So if it's only is gonna cost $7,500, that's all they're gonna spend.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Just a thought.
Then let's get this.
Yeah, let's get it done.
Because it's,
Yeah.
Okay, so resolved, council approves the refinishing of McIntosh Trail in Gull Lake in the amount not to exceed $9,000.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Spicer, second, Counselor Belanger. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, East Beaches Fire Department site drainage improvements.
Yeah, I think Tyler wanted to be part of this too, but I'll take care of this as well.
You can take care of both, I texted him.
Okay, so this is, we've been dealing with various contractors, and this is for doing the parking lot with the grading that's caused some water issues in that building that's been identified. There's also been work that's been identified as part of the pad that was needed for the new generator. So with all that, we have costs and have been able to proceed so that we can get this work done as soon as possible. They did go out to outside for multiple quotes. At least 3 quotes were received. And so what we're looking at is the original budget that was approved for this was not to exceed, was approximately about $80,000 towards some of these improvements. And what we're looking at is a cost of about $59,980 plus local taxes at this point.
Questions,
Come back with
comments?
a cheaper solution, which is reduce basically the size of the pad and so forth. Good.
Okay, so there's no questions or comments, so if you want to bring the resolution forward.
Resolved, administration be authorized to proceed with the site drainage improvements at East Beaches Fire Hall in the amount of $59,980.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Corbis, second. Councillor Strang. Any further discussion?
Sorry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So this is just for the concrete pad out front?
I think it's a skirt around.
Okay. But we budgeted 80,000. Was that supposed to include the generator hookup? Because I'm looking at another 35,000 for the generator hookup.
No, I think the generator hookup was outside of that.
Separate number. So we're within the 80,000 we were talking about. Okay, thank you.
Weren't all kinds of concrete poured twice? Which is without the cement pad for generators. All kinds of concrete poured 59,000, and all kinds of concrete poured 70,000.
Yes, with the pad. And we're gonna go with the generator pad at this point. It's part of their quote.
Without.
Yes.
Well, for another $11,000, you get the pad.
It's a good question. I haven't, I think Tyler might have been able to explain that part a little better. I didn't follow through on this particular quote that deep, with that much detail.
You know, like if we're gonna call them back again to come and do the pad, and it's gonna be more than 11, I mean, they're set up all, you know.
Yeah, we probably have the money, so what I can do is you can approve it for what's been requested, and if there's a need for us to expand, what I can do is come back and get an electronic approval from council.
Because on the second one here, it says concrete, I can't read this, J-U-R.
Jurgen Inc. quote, sorry.
So that's 75,000, that's my eyes, sorry.
Yeah.
But is that with the pad?
No, that's without the pad.
The current generator is too far, so he just wants to seek separate quotes after the fact to get the appropriate.
Okay, so he was looking for a separate quote for the generator at a later point. It's been budgeted and it'll be later, that way we'll make sure that the location might be changed where it is, been identified, might come closer to the building.
Oh, so he hasn't really set where it's gonna be.
But I mean, if he's there now, maybe we could get him to, maybe it wouldn't be that much more. You know,
I'll follow.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, and I'll follow up on that. So if we approve for this for now, it looks like we're going with the lowest bid anyways.
Yeah.
And so with that, we can certainly look at seeing if they can supply that other part, and I'll just ask for a change on the resolution of council.
Because it'd be just a floating slab, the other slab, it wouldn't be much, it's all sand here, so it shouldn't be that much.
Okay, Councillor Belanger had his hand up. Go ahead, Rob.
And I understand these site drainage improvements would be a split cost with Alexander, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Is this split cost, Mickey?
Yes, everything associated with the split cost.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
No.
Go ahead and bring the resolution forward then, please.
Resolve the administration be authorized to proceed with site drainage improvements at the East Beaches Fire Hall in the amount of $59,980.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Horvis seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, so do we want to go back up to 6.15 if Chatter's not coming back?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
This one is, the 3 fire departments, as you know, there's been a lot of discussions about employee assistance and employee health, as well as support for our firefighters, especially dealing with some of the trauma that they're facing. And in light of some recent events that happened in other municipalities, this has raised itself up again. And in discussions with the fire department, there was some dialogue about what can we do to offer those types of services to our on-call firefighters. Now, we started off with the program right out of our insurance with Western Financial, which offers an online capacity for people to be able to work with someone online. But there's also a need to sometimes talk to the specific individuals, somebody to go to meet, because you have to provide a sort of wide range of services. In examining this, our existing staff and management and council are on Blue Cross. Existing staff are with they both have EAP Blue Cross, and the other is Coghlan Insurance. And so Coghlan Insurance all offer the similar program, which is employee assistance program, specifically to get some counseling service due to high stress situations and support. In examining this for the fire departments, what we were able to do was go with Western Financial, which provides services to the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, and they all provided for volunteer/on-call firefighters. The requirement is that all firefighters must agree to be part of the program, and we've recommended in the same methodology as what we have for our Blue Cross and our Coghlan Insurance, which is a 50-50 pay program. The municipality pays 50% and the members pay the other 50% for that program. And for that, there was an estimate, so that comes out to about $4.80 per month per firefighter. So $2.40 would be from the firefighters, and $2.40 would be for the RN. Now, if we had our total complement of 75 firefighters, which we are not at, we are constantly struggling to keep our firefighters fully complements in each fire hall, we'd be looking at $2,160 per year as a cost for this kind of a service. Now, we've done the investigation. There are many municipalities that provide it and many that don't. We thought it was very important to continue to provide it.
Questions, comments? Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
So what coverage do they get for that $250 or $5 a month? Exactly how, what, it's nowhere near the benefits that everybody else receives, can't be, because sure not $5 a month.
I think it's just one part added on to what we did already, I think.
Is that the deal?
I
Okay.
don't know, is that the
$12
Calendar.
It's just for,
of counseling.
Yeah.
Council has a one-time counselor. The Blue Cross one offers a one-time council benefit of $500 per year. Okay, that you can take advantage of. That, so council and management have that. For our other staff from Coghlan, they receive $1,000 per year per calendar maximum for getting the benefits from registered psychologist, certified counselor. And this program, the financial program, offers 12 hours of face-to-face counseling per certificate per year. Good.
That's it. Thank you. Yep. Okay, that's for me.
Go ahead, Councillor Vasilowicz.
when would this take effect?
As soon as we signed the agreement with,
Yeah.
the first thing was for council to pass the resolution. I think Tyler's already been working with the chiefs, and we should have, we've already talked to Western Financial, and I think they're ready to sign the paperwork right away.
Okay, anything else? I can't see Rob if he has a question.
Councillor,
No, he's
No.
good, he doesn't have his hand up. Okay, so is there a resolution to be brought forward, please?
yes, just 1 second in there, I'll switch over for the councillor. I'm gonna do my job on making sure the councillor could see everything I'm showing. Resolved that the administration be authorized to proceed with site, I went back to this.
1.15.
Whereas the Narrow Fire Hall, East Selkirk Fire Department, and the East Beaches Fire Department has requested that the departments be provided with an employee assistance plan related to mental health coverage, and whereas Western Financial Group has confirmed that they are able to provide the fire departments with said insurance at a cost of $4.80 per firefighter, and that all members of each department must sign up for the insurance, and whereas the employees of the municipality, including its council, management team, and unionized employees, are provided with similar health benefits at a 50-50 cost share with the municipality, and therefore be it resolved the municipality provide EAP to each active firefighter that is a part of the East Selkirk Fire Department, Narrow Fire Department, and East Beaches Fire Department, and every new firefighter that is hired by one of the said departments at a cost of a 50-50.
That's here.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Strang, any further discussion or questions on the firefighters employee assistance? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. I was just gonna say that, yeah. Okay. Okay, Sarah, you've been patiently waiting, and we do have some in-camera items to discuss, so I'm gonna ask you to come forward and do your presentation and let us know what your issue is, and then we have other business. But before you start, Councillor Melange, I believe, has had some discussion with you, so he kind of wanted to say a couple of things before you did your presentation. Go ahead, Councillor Melange.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to give council context of Mr. Bates' presence there, I was not aware he was coming today. I indicated to him that if he wanted to be a delegation, he would clearly have to set up a meeting for that and couldn't just walk in. So I was surprised that he was there today. But to give council context on why he's there today, Mr. Bain called me a number of times regarding utility work by Valley Fiber being done in the RM. And the damage that was caused, which is a common occurrence with Valley Fiber, we know that throughout our municipality. I indicated to Mr. Bain that it was not the RM's responsibility to go out and mitigate any problems or soil or holes not being repaired by a contractor, i.e. Valley Fiber. Mr. Bain's concern and his comments were that because the RM approves Valley Fiber to come into the RM to put in utilities, that was responsible. And I said, that's not how it works. Valley Fiber is the utility company putting the utility in. They're responsible for doing all the mitigation work, that if holes are dug, that they gotta be filled in. If there's damage that occurs on people's property, that Valley Fiber has to repair it. It is not the responsibility of the RM. And I indicated that a number of times to Mr. Bain, and that is the background, so council has an understanding of what I did tell him.
Okay, thank you for that. And I guess I have had a few calls too about ditches not being put back the way they were. So I think that's probably something that we're going to discuss, if not today, at our next meeting. But I'm going to let Mr. Bain go ahead. But you're going to have to give me your location, because if we want to push this forward, I can't just say, you know, this gentleman came in and wouldn't tell us where he lives.
So Madam Mayor, if
Yeah.
I could just explain that, you did bring this up as to why. You have right to privacy and protection under the law.
Right.
But when you come to a public hearing, You waive that right by declaring who you are and where you live. That's a requirement under law as well, on a public hearing and a public meeting.
That's your policy, or that doesn't make sense with our Canadian Charter of Rights? We have our own, to be secure in our possessions and our papers.
You do.
Like,
But
I have
when it
no
comes
problem
to-
telling you where I live.
No, when
No
it
problem
comes
at
to
all. I
the
have no problem
government,
saying my name, but I don't want the whole world to know it either. And that is televised to the whole world, is it not?
it's available on our internet.
Yes, like, I'm totally willing to even say it out loud, but it should be able to be given to you guys on paper, in private, so it's not to the world.
I appreciate your comments on that. We'll follow through further on it, but this has been reviewed previously as to charter rights.
Okay. Can I start now?
If you're gonna give me your address,
28149 Provincial Trunk Highway 44.
28149.
Yes, less than a mile away from where that grave site is supposed to be put. So anyways, this is all I'm asking for.
Please help getting my ditch, getting my ditch fixed.
Fixed from being destroyed by Valley Fire. This all started, well, since I started taking pictures, September 2022, when I dumped 6 to 8 yards of gravel on the side of the service road and in my ditch. Well, come November, the snowplow threw all that gravel into my ditch. So I was not able to cut my grass, which I do all the time. I cut the grass on the other side of the service road, 700 feet long. But I'm not able to cut the grass in front of my house, which is maybe 200 feet. The rest of my ditch, I can. Valley Fiber dug 4 holes in your ditch, not mine, in your ditch.
If it's on the service road, it's not our ditch either. It belongs to the province.
According, yes, and that doesn't make sense to me when I'm paying you guys my taxes. And my tax money went to the government to destroy my ditch, or your ditch, or their ditch, which I'm supposed to take care of. And I'm, like I said, I cut my ditch, and I cut the ditch on the other side of the service road to make our community look good, to keep our community looking good. I probably cut my ditch more than I cut my grass on my property. But I still cut my grass every 4 to 5 days because of my OCD. And these guys have cost me probably 500 hours of sleep because of the mess they made and the games they're playing. July 3rd, 2023, they came in and dug those 4 holes. That's when I had really destroyed my ditch besides the gravel. July 29th, they came to fix my ditch. I went out and videotaped the guys, and the guy admitted to me, he doesn't have the right equipment to fix the ditch. The guys that were there to fix my ditch are hole diggers, not fixers. So I talked to Robert, and he finally got the ball rolling and got somebody down there July 8th of this year. Well, these guys came down there and attempted to fix my ditch by throwing, first they had to cut the weeds and the grass that was there that I wasn't able to cut for a year and a half. So that was yay high. Anyways, they cut that. They took a bunch of this gravel out of the ditch, out of my ditch, and they moved it to the opposite side of the service road. There was a pile 2 feet tall of gravel and weeds. Snowmobiles go up and down that trail. They made a death trap. I never noticed until a supervisor came by, and like 2 minutes before he left, I looked across the road and I could see these piles, and he said they should have did that. That is, as far as I'm concerned, littering.
So you've spoken to someone from Valley Fiber then?
I've spoken to a few people from Valley Fiber, and they give me nothing but the runaround. I have been coming to this building since April 28, 2023, into getting, because of the gravel. Now, after that, there's even more damage. And I know they're supposed to, from what you guys say, they're supposed to fix it 100%. I'm not asking for 100%. I understand they will make damage, but they cause thousands of dollars of damage in my ditch.
Well, I think the only thing that we're able to tell you today is that, you know, you're not the only one that has issues with some of the work that they've done, and we have other people that have complaints also. And I think what we'll be doing is we'll be getting a hold of them and trying to pinpoint the people who have approached us about the not so good work that they've done, and we'll see what we can do to help get these areas fixed.
Okay, and again, I would like to mention, they brought in their whole diggers to repair the ditch.
Right.
Not a landscaping company, not even guys that even have the right equipment, never mind attempt to fix it. I am very angry, very disappointed that you guys have no responsibility for that, when I give you my tax money.
Well, your tax money goes to different things, and
I
unfortunately,
know
when you're
that.
on a service road or a provincial road, we don't have jurisdiction. We have
Right.
jurisdiction on our municipal roads.
And my tax money went to you guys, from you guys to the province, to the government, to Valley Fiber, to destroy the ditch.
Not necessarily, but if.
That's the way it went down the line.
We don't give any money to the government, we give our money to the school divisions. That's where your tax dollars go when we collect them here, most of it, and some of it stays here.
I would imagine quite a bit would stay in this community.
Well,
And I have been a community member, it'll be 11 years next month. I'm proud to
no, I
live here.
appreciate you coming in and your patience for today, and if there's nothing new that you want to report, then we'll see what we can do. I think we've made some notes, I know I've made some notes, and I think Deepak has made some notes, so as long as we have your location, that's what I was wanting, because we can't just say to them, you know, we had a gentleman come in and this is his complaint, we gotta know where you are.
Right, oh no, I
Okay.
totally agree with that, I just don't want the whole world knowing it,
Okay.
you know? Like I say, I had no problem telling my name, and just, I want my ditch fixed so I can make it look good again. That's
Okay.
all I want, as my sign says.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you very much for listening to me, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you for your patience too.
I have no patience anymore, but thank you.
Thank you.
So, Madam Mayor, do you want to finish up with the accounts and financial statements, or do you want to take on the camera?
I
Some issues.
think maybe, well, I think,
You guys missed one item.
oh, did we?
Oh, parade.
Oh, parade, okay.
Missed
Yes,
one
Madam Mayor.
going on.
Really?
Yes, Madam Councilor.
End of my parade. Thank you. I wanted to bring up, pardon me?
See?
love a parade.
She loves a parade.
I just wanted to bring up this topic, and it was just from experience that we had at the Triple S Fair Rodeo, besides being super hot. I thought 2 budgets ago that we passed for monies for a float.
I don't remember that.
Do you know? Do you know?
Well, I
Did we just talk about it?
We just talked about it.
I just, and I'm just gonna make a comment, I feel bad for one of the public works employees. And I'm just gonna say her name, Debbie Roy. She comes out with bells on all the time for us. She's on her own, and her daughter. Hats off to them, like, you know, thank them from the bottom of our heart, but. like,
yeah.
I just feel
they
very.
enjoy it though, too. I
Well,
think.
They do.
Yeah.
But it would be nice, and I know, and Dave Sutherland, or Councillor Sutherland will know, and perhaps Councillor Bazarowicz, like, years and years ago, we kind of had it as a event for everybody, all the councillors, all the public works, whoever was able to, and a lot of times, you know, a lot of public works would participate, and even the office staff. You know, and I guess looking at this year, and I know that we've done it this way for a few years, like, we were the only municipality, I'm gonna say, that actually had a float. Like, City of Selkirk just had a truck with the mayor in a truck, and St. Andrews just had a vehicle with the mayor in a vehicle. We had a float. I think it looks nice, and I think it's a better representation of our area. but it would be nice if there was, I don't wanna say more effort, but if we could have more of a float. Like it was just the painted side, and we have the round municipal logo that I don't know whether it's unrepairable or what, but that wasn't put on the float this year, or on the trailer this year. So it's something that I do support Councillor Strang, and I think everybody should at least participate. We only go to 2 parades a year, and sometimes there's only 1. And I think we could have more participation.
Because Grand Marais at Christmas time.
On Christmas time. They didn't have a summer float this year, a summer parade this year though.
I think we should buy a convertible like a Ferrari or something.
Maybe we should build another ship like we did.
That's
30 years
right,
ago.
we have.
Let's start out baby steps and how just a trailer.
So and I know
thing.
Councillor Strang wanted to bring that up, and I do agree that, you know, maybe there is a better way to do it, and I see Councillor Boulanger has his hand up. Go ahead, Rob.
Yes, I mean, I agree with you and Sandra. I mean, over the years, I think a lot of us have volunteered to do that float, that ride along, that handing the candy. There are companies that if you want to pay them, if we came up with a budget number and we put it in the budget, they will design and build a float for you. You tell them what you're looking for. They will build it on a light frame, and it can be done quite easily. I'm not sure of the cost, but we could certainly look into that. If we wanted to get something done, not overly large, but something small enough that we can pull it here, it can be professionally done, and they'll give you the layout of it and come up with a budget number and just give it to this company. They will design it for us, and then we'll have a float long term, and we can just keep parked in the corner somewhere.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Bazarowicz.
Did we not buy a trailer specifically for a float a number of years ago?
No.
Sure we did.
Glenn, I thought, that's what I thought the same thing about the float thing, that we were putting money away,
No,
but I guess that's
we bought a
discussion.
trailer that needed to be replaced.
Right.
And we said it also is used
Was
for
for the
the
float.
Because we bought it internally, actually.
Yes, we have a trailer, that's the one we use.
Yes, yes.
But it's used for lots of purposes.
Yeah, we have our
Yeah, like
trailer.
it's not specific for a float, like the pieces come off of it and it's
No, I was
used
sure
for
we
whatever
did.
else.
I thought we bought it from Gary or something. He had a.
So in order to,
trailer or-
may I suggest something?
Go
In order
ahead.
to address this and also so that it gets recorded, as Councillor Strang has brought up already, that it wasn't last time. And we could pass a resolution for the CEO to report back with some options on having an upgrade to our existing trailer slash float or purchase of a new trailer slash float.
Well, would this go under the same thing as the Christmas lights on the building and all that kind of stuff too?
I
Yes.
have to get a quote.
We're getting a quote of this. Christmas lights already has a resolution, just needs to be
Yeah.
resolved again.
Well, I'm just saying.
Last time we came back with a resolution on Christmas lights and it was determined it was too expensive and to go look for other quotes and we never really got anybody quoting for
So I'm
anything.
thinking that float is gonna come back, it's too expensive.
But we shall know
Anyways.
that.
Yeah.
If a note could be made to look into it and come back and
We'll put a resolution.
If you did get a float, you'd have to design one that fits into our trailers that we use every day.
right,
Not a trailer to sit and be used once a year.
right.
It doesn't make sense.
No, you'd almost need it on I don't know, like on a flat deck almost, Dave, that you could slide it into the.
Like at a platform you could.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to use our low beds, and build,
Go ahead.
Should bring the fridge size door.
Okay. Since we're talking about floats and Christmas lights and other things, our sign really needs a redo out front. The one that's above
The
the
RCMP.
electronic,
Oh, that's not okay.
Oh,
it's really faded.
Yeah.
It really needs some work.
speaking of that,
So how about a resolution?
very
well, I think Heather's
Need
looking
to
after the
flag.
flags.
Yes.
The flags I have ordered, I have asked Public Works.
Okay.
So there's 2 up, but 2 more have to go up.
Now, the one that's the municipal one, do you
I'm
have to
waiting for-
special order that one?
I've already got 3 in, so that I have,
Okay, perfect.
yes.
Yes, because I thought because our open house is in a couple of
Ye-
weeks, I would really like to
that's-
see them spruced up for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Sorry
okay.
to pile on.
Well,
Just
we'll
needs a
look at
little
those
bit of TLC, like, you know, that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Resolve the CAO report back on options for parade floats and fixing up signs and flags in the RN office.
Moved by Counselor Strang, second by Counselor Bazarowicz, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
But not to see.
So we'll go into in camera now, Madam Mayor. And resolve council recess the regular meeting and go into in camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)(b) of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a move, please? Counselor Belanger, second. Counselor Sutherland, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. We'll see you in a little bit, Rob.
Well, he can stay on.
thank you.
Oh, yeah, because we're going in camera, we're not,